All right, guys, it is the day after the official D23 Disney Parks panel, and I'm going to do a rapid fire update about all of the information we got at last night's panel. Let's start out strong with one of the things that I'm most excited about that has an actual date, and that is the Monsters, Inc. land in Hollywood Studios. This has a construction date of 2025. So we should see this in hopefully the next 3 years. Now, I know Universal can build a whole park in like 3 years, but a land in about 3 years is about what we usually expect from Disney. But this does have a breaking ground date, which I'm optimistic about. It also is going to feature Disney's first suspension roller coaster. So this is really excited. It was the one moment that in the presentation that I was starting to get a little like ugh about, that suddenly I was excited. So the new Monsters Inc. land in Hollywood Studio I think is going to be fantastic. And this ride looks really amazing. So I think it's going to be a great e-ticket attraction. Now, let's talk about Magic Kingdom. This is our Cars sort of expansion. Now, we're not getting a full Cars land, but Cars is going to be integrated into Frontierland, and that does make sense. We're talking about kind of that Great American Road Trip. This is going to come with 2 attractions. One, I think, is going to be similar to Radiator Springs Racers with a little bit more, right? It's going to be sort of a dialed up version of that, kind of based on the conversation. So it's going to include some of the stuff that we see in Radiator Springs Racers, but some off-roading stuff as well. That's my suspicion. And then it looks like we're going to have like a gentle driving kind of track for families and kids. That one I'm a little bit nervous about. I hope it's not just like another redo of something like the Autotopia. But this is my favorite one so far, so we're starting out strong. Next, we're going to go to what I know Josh said none of these things were blue sky, but this, I think, is still a little bit blue sky. We don't have a lot of information about it at all. I know everybody is super excited about a Villains Land finally coming to Magic Kingdom, but we don't have a construction date. We don't have a breaking ground date. We don't have any information about the attractions or the land other than that we're going to get shops, restaurants, and 2 attractions. So this is being pushed out probably minimum 5 years before we really start seeing any action on this, is my suspicion. Now, Disney could step up that timeline, but from what we know in the past, and also, I know that Josh said none of this was blue sky, but we've gotten firm announcements about things that were supposed to be coming from D23s in the past that have either been scaled back or completely canceled. So, but the Villains Land is going to be a huge fan favorite. So I think there would be riots if this didn't happen. So I'm cautiously optimistic that in the next 5 years, we'll have some more information about it. Then I'm going to talk about Tropical Americas. We kind of knew that this was coming. When Dinosaur closed, it made sense that they were going to move the Indiana Jones attraction over into that space. The Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland is based on the same system, ride vehicle track system, as Dinosaur. So new story, new indie story, but we're going to get an Indiana Jones attraction in Magic Kingdom, or sorry, Animal Kingdom. And then they're going to do the Tropical Americas, which is going to include a carousel, which I wasn't super excited about. And I know they said it was going to be lovely, but again, it's a carousel. And we are getting Casita, and that's going to be a boat ride. Lots of boat rides coming soon. The boat rides are what's coming. So boat ride in Casita, going through that story of Encanto. Next up, we have our Avatar-themed land in California Adventure, which we also knew was coming, so this isn't a new announcement. Another boat ride. We are getting another boat ride in Pandora. Again, the announcements were several boat rides. So they did say it was going to be innovative. Maybe they're going to be doing something similar to what they did at Shanghai Disney for their Pirates. So it is a little bit different from your standard boat ride. But it is going to be inspired by The Way of Water, but also the next 2 Avatar movies coming out, Fire and Ash, and then the one that we don't have a title for, which I'm assuming is going to be something about the sky, because we've had Earth, Fire, Water so far. Also at Disneyland, in the Main Street Opera House, we are going to get a show that's going to feature the first ever Walt Disney animatronic. So that is that is really charming. I think for us diehard Disney fans who kind of love the Disney nostalgia, and especially this nostalgia at Disneyland, this is going to be really sweet and charming, and I think it's going to be really lovely. Oh, Pandora doesn't have a breaking ground date yet, so TBD, probably 5 years out at minimum. This one is debuting next year, so timeline 2025 for this show with Walt. Next up, Avengers. So I'm not going to cover the foreign parks in this video. I'll do a separate video for that. But Disney DCA is getting 2 Avengers rides. One is going to be the King Thanos, which we had, I think, announced in 2020 or 2019. And then we didn't hear anything else about it, but they did debut those ride vehicles that look suspiciously similar to our Spider-Man and Transformers vehicles in Universal. So but we're also going to be getting Tony Stark's Flight Lab. So this is going to be almost like you're on a gimbal, and it's going to be like it looks from the art like a 2-person thing, and then you're going to be on a gimbal and you're going to be doing sort of interaction. I'm guessing there's probably some combination of screens and animatronics, so that could be really, really cool. Lion King, that's going to be coming to a foreign park, so I'm going to cover that in a different video. All right, we've got Coco. We've got a Coco attraction coming to DCA, Disney's California Adventure. This is going to be breaking ground in 2026, so likely 2027-ish, 28, before we see this ride launch. I'm always excited when we get actual dates, and we didn't get dates for either of those Avengers attractions. So, again, TBD. But this one is breaking ground in 2026, and it is a boat ride. So again, like I said, many boat rides. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to be opening in California Disneyland Park on November 15th. So we got an opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We have some lounges, some themed lounges coming to Walt Disney World. We've got a Spaceship Earth themed lounge coming to Epcot, and a Pirates of the Caribbean themed lounge coming to Magic Kingdom. We also have a window of the new test track ride, so they've just refurbished it. We'll see what the new update is, but that's coming in 2025 as well. Not a whole lot happening for Star Wars. We are going to get a Mando and Grogu mission on Smuggler's Run. So that's really all that's coming to Star Wars, to Galaxy's Edge, which I think we still have a lot of ways to go, that we could continue to move on that and like revamp that land and go back to some of the things that we were promised several D23s ago. Again, for this video, we're skipping the updates for the international parks, but we are also finally getting a return of a nighttime parade to Walt Disney World. I know our diehard Disney fans love that electric light parade, so we are getting a modernized version of that called Disney Starlight that's going to be coming to Main Street, Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom in 2025. So those are all of our D23 parks updates. As always, I am cautiously optimistic. I think some of this stuff is very exciting. I'm much more excited about the stuff that we have hard dates to, either breaking ground dates or debut dates, because we know that things can change. Disney has invested a multi-billion-dollar sort of thing into the parks over the next 10 years. So some of this stuff is probably what they have planned throughout that decade. So these things are going to be, some of them are going to be very far down the road. Some of them are going to be much more happening much sooner. So we'll see how it all plays out in this year and how those things get announced and when we see groundbreaking. What are your thoughts on the updates from D23?